Hi everyone, and today we are talking about a question that entertainment journalists, film analysts, music fans, and even casual internet users have been debating more aggressively over the last few years than almost anybody expected. Because despite Jennifer Lopez remaining one of the most famous women in entertainment, there is now a growing argument online that her public image has become stronger than the actual audience connection behind it. In other words, people are beginning to ask whether Jennifer Lopez is still culturally dominant in the way she once was, or whether modern celebrity culture has transformed so dramatically that even a global superstar with decades of success can suddenly feel disconnected from the audience she once understood perfectly. To understand why this conversation exploded recently, it is important to remember what Jennifer Lopez originally represented when she became famous. She was not simply another singer or actress trying to survive in Hollywood. She became one of the first entertainers to successfully build herself into a fully integrated celebrity brand before social media even existed. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, Lopez mastered the exact type of cross-industry visibility that entertainment executives desperately wanted. She was releasing hit songs while starring in commercially successful films, dominating magazine covers, influencing fashion trends, appearing constantly in tabloids, and creating an image so recognizable that even people who barely followed pop culture still knew exactly who Jennifer Lopez was. That level of visibility created enormous power, but it also created a hidden problem that only became obvious years later. Jennifer Lopez's fame was built during a media era where audiences consumed celebrity narratives passively. Fans watched interviews, bought magazines, listened to radio stations, and accepted public storytelling largely as it was presented to them. Modern audiences behave very differently. Social media transformed viewers into constant investigators who analyze celebrity behavior in microscopic detail. Instead of admiring image control, people now actively search for cracks inside carefully constructed public personas. And this is exactly why recent discussions surrounding Jennifer Lopez became so intense, particularly during the rollout of This Is Me Now, which was arguably one of the most ambitious and risky personal projects of her career. Lopez clearly viewed the project as an emotional statement about love, identity, emotional healing, and the complicated path that eventually reunited her with Ben Affleck after decades apart. The scale of the production itself was enormous, blending musical storytelling, autobiographical symbolism, fantasy sequences, documentary elements, and celebrity commentary into one giant reflection of her personal mythology. But the internet did not react with the unified admiration that might have existed 15 years ago. Instead, audiences split into sharply divided interpretations almost immediately. Some people respected the vulnerability behind the project and believed Jennifer Lopez was genuinely attempting to express emotional truths about heartbreak, loneliness, public pressure, and romantic idealism. Others interpreted the exact same material as excessive self-importance, arguing that the project unintentionally exposed how disconnected celebrity self-perception can become from ordinary reality. One particularly interesting criticism emerged repeatedly across online discussions. Many viewers believed Lopez was trying too hard to control how audiences emotionally interpreted her. Instead of allowing viewers to naturally form opinions, some critics felt the project aggressively framed Jennifer Lopez as misunderstood, romantic, emotionally wounded, and spiritually resilient in a way that felt overly curated. In modern internet culture, audiences often react negatively when they sense celebrities attempting to manage emotional perception too directly. This issue became even more complicated because of Ben Affleck's role in the entire narrative. Their relationship has evolved into something much larger than a celebrity marriage. It functions almost like a cultural symbol representing nostalgia, media obsession, romantic projection, and the strange psychological relationship audiences develop with famous couples. When Lopez and Affleck reunited, millions of people instantly attached emotional meaning to the story because the original Bennifer era had become legendary in tabloid history. The idea that they eventually found each other again decades later felt cinematic to many fans. But the internet quickly transformed the relationship into a non-stop public analysis machine. Ben Affleck's visible discomfort during paparazzi encounters became one of the most discussed recurring celebrity images online. Photographs of him looking exhausted, frustrated, or emotionally drained spread constantly across social media platforms, often paired with narratives suggesting that he regretted returning to such an intensely public relationship. Meanwhile, Jennifer Lopez continued embracing high-visibility celebrity culture with the same confidence she had shown throughout her entire career. The result was a strange public imbalance. Affleck increasingly became viewed as the reluctant participant trapped inside celebrity chaos, while Lopez was portrayed by critics as somebody addicted to publicity and image management. Whether these interpretations were fair became almost secondary to the fact that the internet collectively accepted them as emotionally believable narratives. And once public perception hardens online, reversing it becomes incredibly difficult. At the same time, something else was happening beneath the surface of these conversations. Many people began reevaluating Jennifer Lopez's actual career achievements more seriously than before. Younger audiences rediscovered how dominant she once was commercially, while older audiences started debating whether she had been historically underestimated as a performer. For years, Lopez occupied a strange position inside entertainment criticism. She was undeniably successful, yet critics often treated her more as a celebrity phenomenon than a respected artist. This tension exists partly because Jennifer Lopez built her career around accessibility and mainstream appeal rather than artistic exclusivity. She was never marketed as an underground musician, a method actress, or an experimental creative visionary. Instead, she represented polished commercial entertainment at the highest possible level. Ironically, that mainstream success may have prevented some critics from fully appreciating how difficult her career path actually was. Maintaining relevance across film, music, fashion, television, branding, and live performance for more than 2 decades requires extraordinary discipline, even if audiences sometimes dismiss it as simple celebrity maintenance. Her acting career especially underwent an interesting reevaluation after Hustlers. Before that film, many people still associated Lopez primarily with romantic comedies and glamorous celebrity roles. But her performance in Hustlers surprised critics who believed she delivered one of the strongest performances of that year. Awards season discussions intensified rapidly, and for a moment it appeared possible that Lopez might finally receive the kind of elite critical recognition that had long escaped her. When major awards attention ultimately failed to fully materialize, discussions online became extremely emotional. Some argued that Hollywood still struggles to take glamorous mainstream entertainers seriously, while others insisted Lopez had always been more celebrity than actress. Meanwhile, another conversation quietly grew louder over the past few years: the question of whether Jennifer Lopez's perfectionism itself now creates distance between her and audiences. Modern internet culture often celebrates visible imperfection because flaws feel emotionally authentic. Jennifer Lopez, however, continues presenting herself with extraordinary discipline. Her appearance, performances, interviews, branding, and public behavior remain intensely controlled. To supporters, this demonstrates professionalism and ambition. To critics, it can appear emotionally guarded or overly strategic. Yet perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Jennifer Lopez's current position is that she continues refusing to shrink herself in response to criticism. Many celebrities facing internet backlash eventually attempt to rebrand themselves as more casual, ironic, or self-deprecating in order to reconnect with audiences. Lopez largely avoids this strategy. She still approaches celebrity culture with maximum scale, maximum glamour, and maximum theatrical confidence. In some ways, she behaves like one of the last surviving superstars from an entertainment era that no longer fully exists. And maybe that explains why reactions to her remain so intense. Jennifer Lopez does not merely represent herself anymore. She represents an older philosophy of celebrity itself, one built on aspiration, spectacle, and carefully maintained mystique. Modern audiences simultaneously admire and distrust that type of stardom. They miss larger-than-life celebrities while also criticizing the artificiality required to maintain such images. So when people argue online about Jennifer Lopez, they are often debating something much bigger than one entertainer's career. They are debating what audiences now expect from fame, authenticity, romance, aging, success, and emotional transparency in a digital era where every public figure lives under constant psychological examination. And whether people love her, criticize her, or remain conflicted about her entirely, Jennifer Lopez continues standing directly at the center of that conversation in a way very few celebrities still can. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments whether you think Jennifer Lopez is unfairly trapped between two generations of celebrity culture, or whether the public is finally seeing through an image that was always more constructed than authentic.